Alright guys, Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training. Sorry about the break, but I'm going to go ahead and post both of these. I want to try to accent a little bit more on that downstay that you're working on. So we put the dog on a downstay in front of an end cap, and then we go around the corner, and we're just out of sight, a little bit of noise. And we're going to be working on, when you do the downs and you do these stays, you work on what's called the 3 Ds. That's distraction, distance, and duration, right? So usually how far away you are matters. Most people would be doing it on the field. They'd be doing it down and they'd walk away from the dog a certain amount of distance. And then you get a little jiggy with a little bit of activity and they'd cause some distraction. And then they would have duration. How long does the dog stay there before you return to the dog, right? So they call that the 3 Ds. And that's the basic nucleus of how you start building up on a solid downstay. And then if you do it like I do, you do it at my home, I do it in my neutral lab, I get my behaviors set pretty much where I know the dog understands what it's supposed to be doing. I've got some success in pattern and routine, and that success in pattern and routine is going to add up to the dog understanding what it's supposed to be doing. And now I'm going to up that ante, and I'm going to start doing this out in public, and I'm going to start doing around the corner work. And I think I've went through this a couple times before, but I'll do it again, and I'll probably do it again. I'll be talking. This is one of the things I work on a lot, because your downs, either on a veranda bed in your house or downs on the field in public when there's a lot of foot traffic around the dog, these are the things that down is one of the things that teach the dog to relax and to have that off switch. Okay, very important. And the more you do it, and expect the dog to down and learn to take a chill pill, the more he'll go from a excitable state and drivey state that you're working on for all your other stuff and trying to get drives so the dog's animated and into the work, to being able to just have an off switch and be able to relax when you sit down and stay, and you start accenting that aspect of the dog's training, right? So we use it in the 3 Ds: distance, duration, and distraction. Or distraction, distance, it doesn't matter what order you say it in, they all come with Ds. So that's what we're working on with Luna. So that's my accent point today. And then again, you see a little bit of my attitude about manipulating environment, right? I'm going out on a weekend when I know it's busier, right? Tractor Supply is a great example of that. They have 2 days that they have their supplies come in. And since this COVID's been going on, there's a lot more people at home, they kind of have that as a second part of their little release place where they can go to Tractor Supply to get their animal food, to get their things that they need for their home. And it's a place that will be open because it's considered an essential need. We all got to feed our animals. We all got to take care of what we got going on at home in that regard. So Tractor Supply is one of those stores that fills that need, right? So they'll be open. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, when they get their truckloads in and they're putting all that product onto the shelves, they're busier, right? They're busier on Saturdays and Sunday out of behavior, habits, and everything else. Even though most people aren't working, the weekends always get busier because we have behavior patterns, right? So those days I can count on the fact there's going to be more foot traffic, right? If I go on a Wednesday, there's going to be a lot less foot traffic. So being aware and cognizant of your environment that you want to be able to be in control of, because if you have too much too soon, it's going to blow the dog out of the water, right? So that's what I'm trying to emphasize when I start talking about manipulating environment, right? Being able to use environment that's around you, be able to set up stuff that makes it advantageous for your dog to learn and grow. It's one of the most important parts that you're going to do with training your dog. Another thing in that vein, since I'm here, let's talk about that. I have one of my customers' dogs that came through a while ago. She got the dog trained, she took it out and she went to go work it, and this gentleman come up to her and started kind of messing with her, right? Her being female, who knows? She got really irritated because the guy went over and started petting her dog and kind of really got in the middle of things. And I hear that story all the time in regards to environment. How people have to deal with the outside public and what they dish on them, what they bring to them with their attitude. Oh, I want to pet the dog. Or you have a child that comes up. There was one video on YouTube a while back where the lady was going ballistic because the owner didn't want her to pet her dog. She's going to call security. I mean, there's a lot of different people out there. Not everybody likes dogs. That's another thing. You always got to respect the fact that you need to realize that you're in an environment that not everybody feels that you should have your dog in that environment. So you're going to catch some angst in that regards, right? So dealing with the public and overall, and understand that this is something that you don't have total control over, but you do in a certain regards. When I go out and I work my dogs, I don't have half of the things ever happen to me that I hear happen to other people in regards to the public coming at your dog, or you having to deal with the public when you're trying to make sure you keep control of your situation that you're working with your dog, right? And all I can figure out is that it's the way you carry yourself. How you come off to the general public, how you carry yourself, and what you do is very important. I don't have that problem because I've learned to have a third eye. I watch everything around me. I can see a kid. I know the child's there. I know the mother's there. I read body language and I watch people's attitude. I can tell what they're thinking and they don't even say anything. And a little sneer, a little body language says you shouldn't even be in this place, that kind of thing. They don't have to say a word. I can read it. It emulates from the people. Why? I've been doing this for so many years and I'm a people watcher. I like to watch people and be aware of my environment from what I do in dog training. It's very important. So that being the case, all I can tell you is learn how to carry yourself properly where you don't have that happen to you as much. It's human psychology, guys. If you end up being insecure and you're not sure of yourself when you're doing your animal, they'll sense that, right? Or if you give them a little bit too much attention. I have a tendency to kind of ignore people and concentrate on what I'm doing and what I'm working on, and I give the people in the general public around me kind of a little bit of an attitude that I'm friendly, I'm nice, but at the same time I'm busy. I'm doing what I'm doing, right? So figure out what you need to do. Maybe I'll get into the subject a little bit more. It's a lot of just psychology. It's human psychology and understanding how to deal with people in mass, right? When I go down to Victoria Gardens and it's busy down there, there's hundreds and thousands of people walking all over the place. And you have all kinds of things that are going to come at you. One of the ones that irritates me the most is when I have somebody with a small child going down the middle of the aisle in an outdoor mall, let's say, and all of a sudden the kid sees the dog and comes running, oh! And the parents are standing back there, they haven't corrected their child, they're not even paying attention, and that child is being allowed to go approach the dog without any supervision and without asking to pet the dog. Children are going to get bit. I mean, you got to realize that your job is to be able to be aware of and on top of your environment. Learn to have a third eye so you know everything that's going around you. At the same time, you're working your dog. And if you can split your brain in it, you're going to get better and better at learning how to manipulate and work your environment. It's a tool, and it needs to be practiced to be used really well, okay? The more practice you get in with using it, if you're a professional trainer and you start to go out in public, you'll get better and better at it, and better at being able to spot things that you can use. I'll give you an example. I do a lot of around the corner work with plate glass windows in certain malls that have really open fronts, and I can put the dog on a downstay outside the door and go inside the store and still be able to see the dog and keep an eye on the animal. See, these little tricks, right? And understanding how to use environment to your most advantageous part, okay? To the most of the usefulness out of your environment. And I think I've gotten pretty good at it over the years. I'm pretty good at using all of it. And even asking people to help me out. I do it all the time. I build relationships. When I go to Tractor Supply, they all know me and they all brag on me. Every time I come in there, I hear them talking about me being a good dog trainer and I'm good at what I do. Okay, that's your team. Those people are important to you. Home Depot, I build relationships when I go out to the point. Pretty soon, I've got the personnel in those stores working with me and helping me out with my training. Believe it or not. It's always different when it's a new place and they don't know who I am versus something that I've been there for a long time and I'm coming in and out all the time with my dogs, and I build those relationships. They're going to accent and help and facilitate my ability to use those environments. Okay, very important to be good at PR, to be good at public relations, to keep those relationships as far as getting your environments to work for you. So I'll go ahead and let you guys go. I'm rambling on a little bit too long. I'm almost where I need to go. Have a good day. Mark Ferrasci, Pro Tech Dog Training on a Sunday, working environment. Bye-bye.